Well, this release of the GPX editor really demands a bit of an explanation, because as you can probably see already, if you're familiar with it, it looks a bit different. Just done a lot of work tidying up the user interface, and the first thing you'll notice is these I think they're slightly more visible, clearer and neater buttons along the top. They don't work until you load a file. So the first thing you see in the About page is a fairly long piece of text here which explains everything, tries to explain everything. Let's do it by example, loading a small file to start with. And you can now see on the right hand side it's quite busy. I like to think that although it's busy, it's somewhat better organized. The first thing you notice here is that we've gone straight into the third person view. There's no overview screen as such. The other views are the same. The first person view, which is great for fly-throughs, the elevation view, which is great for fixing gradients, the plan view, which is great for fixing bends, and back to the text. So sticking with the third person, it doesn't matter which view we use, actually all these tabs work across the views. So the first tab here gives us some summary information about the route. Second tab tells us about the point in front of us, the road directly in front of the orange cone there, that we're our notional position on the track. Visual styles allows us to select what we want to see in the display, and it's easier to see the immediate effect of those here. And again, that will reflect itself in any of the views straight away. We can build some terrain, which for a short circuit like this is almost immediate, but for a complicated circuit might take several minutes, and you really might not want to do that. Loop Maker is a fun one for this particular track. If you go back to the start, we can zoom in and see that it's actually not quite a loop. It's very, very close, but it's not quite there enough. So we can say, let's make that a loop, and those two track points are then superimposed. That allows me to do something else as well, which is a possibility, which is to reposition my orange pointer somewhere else on the track. In fact, it could even be way over the other side of the track, and say, no, I really want to start the loop here. So now the loop starts there. The main reason you might want to do that is because you've got some fixing up to do back on the original start point, and you can now use the other tools because it would otherwise be impossible to use the tools bridging across the start and the finish. Let's put the start point back where it was and move on. Fly through, it's just the controls for the fly through. So switching into first person view, and adjust the speed of this, pause it and reset. And of course the reset is relative to my current position. So if I started where the start line should be, I'll find that I can fly through the 1.5 kilometers of Hillingdon extremely quickly. Moving on, smooth gradient. Let's use another track for this. This has some interesting gradient problems. I'm going to move into the gradient problems section to list them. There's quite a few, so let's make the threshold a bit coarser. Zooming in on number 44. Okay, I've got a number of ways of attempting to fix that. Smooth gradient tool works over a range of track sections, so I drop the purple cone, which I can move one way and move my current cone the other way, and then the smooth gradient tool will do exactly what it says on the tin. It will make the gradient in between there constant. If I don't want to go quite that dramatically, I can kind of say, let's make it halfway smooth. So it retains some of the original flavor of the track, but makes it less difficult to ride. Nudge node is a good one to look at next, because nudge node, well, as you might gather from the name, lets me move a node up and down. It's just switching to elevation view. Zoom in a bit on that. So I can move the node up by 10 meters, down by 10 meters, and I can use the yellow triangle to kind of judge where I might want that. And as you might gather from the other slider there, it also works from side to side. So in the third person view, if I line the track up so I can see what's going on, I can move 5 meters to the left and 5 meters to the right, and that's relative to the direction of travel. And I can combine both of those if I want to. And you can do really bad things with the track here, so be very careful, but you can always undo them, so it's not really a problem. Moving on, smooth bend. Let's just go and find a problematic bend. Okay, smooth bend, you probably know and love this. It uses a purple and the orange markers. So let's drop the marker and let's move the marker around to the other side of the bend. Sorry, wrong way. And as it moves round, it tries to suggest a different way around the corner for you, which makes it less of a challenge, makes the experience of riding it smoother. And you may or may not like what it's offering. You don't have to take it, it's just a suggestion. You can also add in a number of bend segments, so you can make that somewhat more round than it was there. And you can undo it. Straighten, yeah, it kind of does what it says on the tin. The good use of straighten is where you have something that's ought to be straight but isn't. I don't know if there's anything, let's just use that area here for the sake of example. Let's just say that I'd like this entire section of track to be straight. Now it's straight, and that hasn't removed any track points, it's just marshaled them into line, and sometimes that can have the unintended effect of compressing all the gradient changes and making them actually exacerbated, so you might then need to go back and fix the gradient. Track points is another frequently requested one. Can be very useful for sorting out some of the gradient problems. So this one, for example, is a fairly abrupt transition of gradients, and I can soften that transition by putting nodes either side of my current node, and you can see that's effectively creating a vertical curve in the track. If I have a very long segment here, and I might want to put a track point in the middle, so there you go, track point in the middle. Or I might decide that I've got some track points that I just don't like. Sometimes it happens, you get some close together or even overlapping, and you can just delete track points like that. And that's it really. Gradient problems I've already said, that allows you to jump quickly to areas of the track that need your attention. Bend problems likewise for bends. Thank you very much. Don't forget to save the file when you're finished.